it would help if I unmuted myself. All right, hi everyone. Welcome to today's virtual write-in. My name is Catherine. I'm the communications manager at NaNoWriMo, and I will be leading today's virtual write-in. We're at a little bit of a different time today than we usually do it, so forgive me, I'm not a morning person. It is currently morning in Berkeley, California, where I am, so I'll do my best. But hi, yeah, welcome. I see people in the chat saying where they're watching from today, so feel free to put that in there if you wanna share where you are. I saw that we've got some new folks who have never done the virtual write-ins before tuning in today, so that's great. Welcome. So if you've never done one of these before, basically what we're going to do is take the next hour and we're going to do some writing prompts, writing sprints together. So I'll give you some optional writing prompts and then set a timer, and we'll just try to write as many words as you can during that time. So you can always choose to use the prompt if it's helpful for you, or just not use it, throw it out the window if it doesn't work for where you're at in your story. But yeah, cool. Oh man, we got people from Australia, Boston, Spain, Kentucky, Minnesota, Texas, Jersey, Idaho, New Zealand, British Columbia, California, Massachusetts. So great. Yeah, I hope, also my hope was that having these a little bit earlier, we might be able to get some folks who aren't usually able to make the ones that happen in the afternoons where I am when we do them, but yay. Ooh, Gearhead Metal Factory asks, any prompts today for dialogue or creating a hook? We don't have any specifically today for that. Our programs fellow Ria actually created the outline for today, and she wasn't able to make it because her internet was acting wonky. But so today it'll be kind of about change and transitions, and writing those. But if you do have requests, I will take note of that for next week. So I'll have to tune back in next week. All right. Cool. Oh, 3 a.m. here. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Thank you for joining, even if it's 3 a.m. Where you are. Yay. How's everybody's camp projects going? It's almost the middle of July, which is kind of wild. So yeah, I'm curious, what are people working on for camp, and how's it excuse me, how's it going for you? I'm not sick. I'm really not a morning person. I feel like it takes my body and like my voice about an hour to fully wake up. So that's okay. I got some Thai iced tea here. Ooh, story file says, great, I'm almost to 10K and goal is 25K. That's awesome. Right on track. Xavian says, I've got more than half my goal done for the summer, 25,000 word goal. Congratulations. It's Just Yarn says, finishing a novel from 2 years ago. Nina says, I've never done a 50K goal, but I'm very surprised with how well I'm doing. That's great. Congratulations. Bethy T says, very slow. I hit a block, but hopefully am over that hill. I feel you. I feel like there always comes a point for me where I'm like, oh no, there's just a wall here, and you do eventually get over it. So I have faith in you. Ooh, Ava says, I've been editing my novel so I can publish it. Congratulations. Taylor's got around 7,300 words so far. Man, you guys are doing great. It's so great to see what everybody's working on. I have been very behind. So if you are also very behind, don't worry. You're not alone in that boat. I am there rowing along with you. So cool. All right, well, with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started with the first word sprint here. This is going to be just like a little warm-up sprint, so about 5 minutes. And yeah, like I said, the kind of theme that we were going with today is looking at kind of change and transitions in your character, in your novel. You can also use it for yourself if you want to take this time to like journal, if you're writing a memoir or something like that. So the first prompt is just to write about a time in your character's life where they had a big transition. So it could be like moving across the world, or a big breakup, or it doesn't have to be sad. It could be like starting a new job, like something in your character's life that was like a big change moment. Um, so you can kind of consider how it shapes your character in their present day, and let yourself kind of explore how they deal with that transition a little bit. So I'm going to, give me just a moment, I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat, and then I'll start a timer. Sorry about this. Okay. Oh, and I also just saw the question, will the streams ever be back in HQ? Hopefully, eventually. Everybody at NaNoWriMo is still working from home because of COVID and the pandemic and everything. So we're still currently working from home. I'm sorry I don't have the NaNoWriMo office background here. It's just my bedroom, but hopefully eventually they'll be back in HQ. So. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set my timer here. Just pull it up. There we go. So again, this first prompt is going to be just 5 minutes, kind of getting warmed up, writing about a time in your character's life when they had a big change. So let's go ahead and start writing now. time is up for that sprint. Sorry about that, guys. I usually give a little 1-minute warning, but I was getting too into it. So go ahead and wrap up what you're writing. If you want, you can share how many words you got during that word sprint in the chat, or how you use the prompt, or if you want to share a sentence that you wrote, feel free to drop that in there. I also saw somebody asking about having a timer up on screen, and thank you for that reminder, because I remembered that I was going to try to do that this time. So for the next word sprint, it'll be an experiment, but I'll try to put a timer up on screen so people can see how much time we have left. So thank you for that reminder. Awesome. Welcome. I see some people are just jumping in now. We just finished the first writing sprint. So we're going to have a little discussion, and then we'll get into the next one in a little bit. Let's see. Bree got 231 words. Also a little like face, but that's pretty good for 5 minutes, honestly. Like I'm a slow writer, so that's great. Pamela Pritchett got 129 words. That's a great prompt. I'll pass that along to Ria. She's the one who came up with it. Carrie got 189. Gentili Lace 104 words. I'm glad there are some other like slower typers in here for me, because I am also a slow typer. So sometimes I see people, oh my gosh. Oh, Sean Martinez says, I now have 6,307 words. For a second, I thought you meant that you wrote 6,000 words during 5 minutes. And I was like, that is not humanly possible. So, awesome. Oh, interesting. And Nina's talking about listening to instrumental music for reading and writing on Spotify. I'm curious if y'all have like writing music that you listen to, or writing sounds, or like stuff that you have to have going on in the background while you write, or if you're just like, nope, silence. I need quiet and focus. So yeah, I'm curious if you want to share that. Let's see. Phyllis wrote 218 words. I used the prompt to capture the different transitions in my character's life. As a memoirist, I am the character. Nice. Julia Peterson shared an excerpt that says, the whole thing feels slightly off kilter, like gravity might start pulling her up or sideways, or yank her right down through the floor at any second. Oh, I love that. Lindsay says, new to Camp Nano, haven't started writing yet. The month sort of got away from me. That is okay. I feel like that happens to me pretty much every time Camp NaNoWriMo happens. So if you haven't started writing yet, also, like, that's totally fine. One of the best things about camp is that you can set your own goal and whatever works for you. So even if you start, halfway through the month, like, you can set a goal and be like, okay, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to work on like this is my goal, so let's see. Rai says, when they write, they like to listen to silence during the day, but can handle some peaceful music at night. Xavier shared an excerpt that says, the young boy beamed a warm smile up at his sister. It's a storybook, but not a storybook with made up stories. It's true stories about magic. He showed the girl the cover. It's great. I want to read a book that's true stories about magic. Ooh. Miss TM says, I got 142 words. My writing just woke up. Yay. Oh, Josephine C., this is interesting. I don't play video games, but I listen to playthroughs while I work. I've been listening to Doom and Symphony of the Night recently. That's fascinating. I love that. Taylor Griffin says, definitely prefer music. I have a playlist full of folk music to match the vibe of my story, although sometimes if I get too into writing, I forget to put it on. Yeah, that's a good sign, actually, when you're like so into it and then you realize halfway through writing session, like, oh, I'm not listening to anything. I was working, well, I've been working on this story. I've kind of put it on pause for a while because I have a writing group that we share manuscripts with each other for feedback. And usually we do it like 10, 20 pages at a time. And recently we were like, oh no, let's trade like full drafts with each other. So like one person can read the full draft and see kind of what needs to be fixed, you know, in the big picture, like overarching picture. And I hadn't actually put everything in my draft together in one document before. So I've been working on this story for I don't know, probably 3-4 years now. It's like the first half of it is in its like third or fourth draft, and the second half of it is all first draft. But anyway, I put it all together and realized that it's like 130,000 words or something absolutely ridiculous like that. And so I sent it on to the person who was reading my draft and was like, I'm so sorry, this is so long and just like so messy. But it was also a great feeling of accomplishment to look at all that and be like, wow, I actually wrote all of this. Like, when did this happen? But I was thinking of that because it's kind of a fairy tale retelling, and it's based in a high school dance company, and they're performing Sleeping Beauty. And so pretty much when I was writing that, I would just listen to the Tchaikovsky like Sleeping Beauty score on repeat the entire time. So I'm like, oh, this is what my characters are listening to. So this is what I'm listening to. And I grew up dancing ballet, and I was remembering what it feels like when for just like 4 months at a time, you're just listening to the same music over and over and over again because you're practicing so much. So it's kind of getting in that headspace with the music that I was working on for that project. But Gearhead Metal Factory says jazz for me when I write it, or heavy instruments. Nice. All right. Russ Irvine said my screen crashed and I only just managed to copy the prompt. Yay! I'm so happy you managed to copy it. Yeah, it's a good reminder. Always save, keep backups of your writing. Yeah, so important. It's always so devastating when you like write something and then something happens with the computer and you lose it. So I'm yeah, fingers crossed that doesn't happen to anybody, but good reminder, if you need to save your work, make sure you do it. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our second prompt so we get some more good writing in today. So our second prompt today, also kind of thinking more about transitions and changes within your story, and just thinking about the way that, also because we're doing a world building track for camp this July. So if you haven't checked that out, I'll pull up the URL really quick and put it in the chat. But if you're working on building out your world, whether it's a, fantasy, sci-fi, or realistic fiction, or even a memoir, like building out the world and making the setting really, really pop is important for your writing. So I'll put that in the chat. We have a bunch of resources to help you world build. But so we were kind of thinking about that and the way that you describe settings in your novel and how your characters see the places that they're at. So for this next prompt, which is going to be 10 minutes long, try to transition from one setting to another one, and kind of emphasizing the change in scenery through color or atmosphere, character behavior. What do they hear? What do they smell? And just making that really, really distinct between two different settings. So, it can be like, oh, they're inside a cold office building, and then they walk outside and it's hot and the sun is shining and the birds are chirping or whatever. Or maybe they step through a world gate and they're in an entirely different world now. So yeah, so the next prompt is just going to be writing a transition where your character moves from one setting to another setting and really describing that change. So give me just a second here. I'm going to copy that over into the chat. I'm realizing I'm used to having somebody to bounce off of. So I'm like, oh, somebody else can talk while I'm doing all the chat maintenance. But bear with me here while I put this in the chat. Okay, so we're going to put that in the chat. And I'm also going to try to have a timer up on screen this time. So this prompt is going to be 10 minutes long. And I will share my screen. There we go. All right, so sharing that screen here. Oops, can I? Sorry, like I said, this is an experiment. I haven't tried to do this before, so I'm not sure. Oh, no, sorry, that one wasn't working. Thank you for your patience. All right, I'm gonna have to do, I might have to do a little more experimenting before we're able to get the timer up on screen, but I'll be better this time about giving you like a 5-minute, 1-minute warning. So I'll do some more experimenting for next time. But yeah, so 10 minutes for this prompt. I'll just use my trusty little timer on my phone here. And again, this is going to be writing about a character transitioning from one setting into another setting. So let's go ahead and start writing now. Got about 5 minutes left. We're halfway through. Oh, 30 seconds left. All right, time is up for that prompt. Go ahead and wrap up what you're writing. Again, if you want to share either how many words you got during that writing sprint or a sentence that you wrote or how you use the prompt, feel free to put that in the chat. I'm going to say time's up for that prompt in the chat as well. Awesome. I was, excuse me, I was using kind of like dreams or dreamscapes to explore moving between different settings. So that was a lot of fun for me. All right, Phyllis Smith got 559 words. Great prompt. I can talk. It's easier to write things down, but I can talk as well. Russ Irvine got 299. What a music geek just joined in. Awesome, welcome. We just finished the second writing prompt, but you'll be definitely able to join us for the last one. So good morning, welcome. Ava says, by solving this riddle meant I would have to very politely wait until noon to find the words of wisdom. Nice. I like that if you solve a riddle, you have to politely wait until you get the words of wisdom. Slithery Lover got 214. Hazel Witherspoon says, working on my piece, got 301 words. Nice. Rye Pie says, the temperature in the bus dropped noticeably and he didn't have to turn his head to know that she just shivered. Ooh. Cynthia Helton wrote 291 words, going from rainy London street to interior of a gay club. Oh, that's great. That's a really good like juxtaposition of settings and scenes. Love this. Pamela Pritchett got 281. Nice. Michelle Cohen says, my character traveled to hell from a library and found herself in a blizzard of glass. That's great. That's incredible. Abby got 569 words and said, did not think I was typing that quickly. Awesome. I know sometimes you can surprise yourself, like if you're really in the groove in the moment. That's great. Oh man, it's so good to see people making good work count and good progress on their things that they're working on. Kate shared an excerpt. The sun had lowered in the sky. The overhead blue darkened. As she stood and watched, everything changed. She was in the park, but it was dusk and she was alone. Nice. Alexis C says, character starts underwater and emerges into a world of fire. That is quite the change. Oh, another underwater character from Nina. Bethy T says, my characters are walking from a cafe to an art gallery in Tribeca, New York City. Savannah S wrote about the aftermath of a forest fire. Nice. This is great. Oh man. Well, I'm been seeing a couple of people saying that these prompts are helpful. So I'm really glad. Really glad if they're helping you get through your project. I'm curious if people have good like prompt resources that they like to go to if they're just working on their own, or they're like, oh, I need something to like spark my writing today. Like if there's any place you like to go, or exercises you like to do to just kind of like get that little jump start on your writing, feel free to share them in the chat. I feel like I usually, when I'm trying to come up with writing prompts, I try to kind of take stock of what I'm doing in my life right now, and or whatever is going on, or even just looking around the room, being like, okay, what can I use creatively in the space around me that might tie into what I'm writing. So I don't know. Sometimes it's effective. Sometimes it's not. But I think that's usually my go-to thing. I was on vacation about a month ago, and when I had to come back and come up with writing prompts, I was like, ooh, make your character go on a vacation. Like, what is that like for them? So, oh, Slithery Lover says, I never really did prompts before this, never thought it would be helpful, but just from these two, I can already tell I've been missing out on a lot. Ah, that's great. I'm so glad. Oh, What a Music Geek says at Barnes & Noble, there's this one bargain book place in their magazine section where they sell journals that have different prompts for like $6 or $7. Cool. That's great. All right, so we have about 20 minutes left, and I want to make sure that we have some good time to write because it is the middle of camp. So I think we can do a little bit of a longer prompt for the last one if you guys are down with that. Maybe like maybe we can do like 12 or 13 minutes for the last prompt, just to make it a nice fun number. And I saw a couple of people asking for dialogue prompts, so let's do a dialogue prompt for the last one. Still on the theme of change and transitions, and this one I'm kind of making up on the fly, so you might have to give me a second as I type it in the chat. But I was thinking about how both in real life and in books, it can be really interesting to see how people talk to each other, and especially how people kind of talk differently to different people. So I love the trope of like a character is like, if they're mad at somebody, like, you know, they're having a perfectly nice conversation with somebody, and the person they're mad at comes up and they immediately switch how they're talking, like what their body language is doing. So it doesn't have to be necessarily that your character's mad at somebody, but why don't we write a scene with dialogue where you show through what your character is saying how they feel differently about two different people that they're talking to. So they can be talking to one person and another person comes up and they switch how they're talking, or they can be having a conversation with two people and just maybe they're really short and abrupt with one person, or really like, you know, flowery and like starry-eyed with another person. But just writing a scene using your dialogue to show how a character feels, how your main character feels about two different people that they're talking to. So like I said, just made that one up on the fly, so I'm going to type that one into the chat really quickly. Oops, got to be in the right window to do that though. Write a scene. Show. All right, not the most eloquently put, but it's there in the chat. So like I said, this one will be a little bit longer. Let's do 12 minutes for this prompt, so you can really dive into it a little bit. So 12 minutes writing a scene where your main character is talking to two different people and using the dialogue to show how they feel differently about each of the people that they're talking to. And again, you don't have to use the prompt if it doesn't work for you, but if it's helpful, then feel free to use that. So 12 minutes, and let's start writing now. Got about 5 minutes left for this one. Oh, 30 more seconds. time is up for that sprint. So go ahead and wrap up what you're writing. And again, if you want to share your word count or a sentence or how you use the prompt, you can also share, if you want to look at the total word count that you got during this last hour, you can feel free to share that as well. There you go. Awesome. Yay. I'm glad we got to do a longer sprint today. I was definitely getting in the zone with that one. So sometimes I think it helps to kind of like work up to it a little bit, and then you're like, oh wow, this is easier than I thought it would be. Hopefully, sometimes. Gearhead Metal Factory asks, what do y'all think about a book that's sci-fi but has horror aspects like creepy castles and creepy dungeons? I am pro creepy castle and creepy dungeon, especially in sci-fi. Like, that sounds great. I think a lot of people would be into that. Savannah S says the BFF just talked to her crush in front of the friend group for the first time. Ooh, that's so nerve-wracking. I love that. Michelle Cohen wrote 789 words, officially passed 30,000. My current word count is 30,172. Congratulations. That's great. Sean Martinez now has 6,451 words. Awesome. Hannah Nichols shared an excerpt. Says, I need your help, he pleaded. He had a kind yet seemingly forced smile and his eyes were vacant and unfeeling. I'm sorry, but I can't. He frowned as his smile dissipated. I wasn't asking. Ooh, nice. Hazel Witherspoon got 836 for the hour. Nice. Gentilly Lace got 228 for the last bit, 586 in total. Abby got 1,033 words for the total hour. Yay. That's great. One of Music Geek says, I think of myself as the DM of a D&D campaign to write my stories. I like that. Putting the plot lines there, but sometimes the characters do unexpected things. So that's great. Ava edited 836 words and almost done chapter 30. Congratulations. Awesome. Yay. Oh man, I'm so glad that you guys have been making some good progress. I definitely made some progress today, so it's always super helpful for me to do these as well. So thank you so much for showing up. Yeah, I'm like getting ready to start my day. So some of you may be ready to go to sleep if it's now almost 4 a.m. where you are, but thank you for joining today. Yeah, we'll be having these, we'll be continuing this same time for the next couple of weeks through the end of July for the writing sprints. And we got some other stuff on our calendar as well. So I'll just drop a link to our full calendar so you can see all the stuff that we've got going on for the rest of the month. Let's see. There we go. If you are working on world building stuff, we also have our world building camp track going on, and I'm going to be guesting on World Anvil, which is one of our sponsors, has a live stream on Saturday. They've been releasing weekly world building prompts. So I'm going to put that on the calendar as soon as I have all the details for it. But if you want more world building prompts, then this Saturday over at World Anvil, I'll be over there hanging out with them as well. So yay, awesome. So I hope to see you guys next week, and good luck with your projects. This was a lot of fun. I hope you made good progress, and you're doing really great on your camp goals. Yeah, don't forget to, we have a bunch of sponsor offers too for people who are participating in camp, but also if you end up meeting your camp goal, there are some extra goodies for the people who meet their camp goal. So we have a couple of brand new sponsors too. So I'll just go ahead and also drop that link in the chat if you want to go and check out any of our sponsor offers for Camp NaNoWriMo. Yay. Oh, I see some people saying they're going to be back. Great. Cool. Well, yeah. So I will see you guys next week, and good luck with your writing. Yeah. Good luck.